Good day, everyone. So we're done with our prelim coverage, which are chapters 1 and 2. So now we're going to start discussing our midterm coverage, which is chapter 3, organizational leadership. The learning objectives that we have at the end of this chapter, the students or you will be able to, number one, define organizational leadership. Number two, identify the four factors of leadership. Number three, define the concept of a leader. Number four, enumerate and explain the roles of a leader in an organization. Number five, identify and appreciate the importance of organizational leadership. Number six, identify the important keys to effective leadership. Number seven, explain and enumerate each of the leadership principles. And lastly, number eight, you will differentiate the six types of power for leaders. So let's go ahead and start with defining what is organizational leadership. So it refers to the all-embracing field of a person or the leader strategically guiding and managing a group of people in which that's the organization to meet a common goal. So it is also a management approach in which leaders help set strategic goals for the organization while motivating individuals within the group to successfully carry out assignments in service to the goals, emphasizes on developing leadership skills and abilities that are relevant across the organizations. In short, it means the potential of the individuals to face hard times in the industry and still grow during those times. So when we talk about organizational leadership, that's basically the process of guiding and influencing individuals or groups within that organization for them to be able to achieve common goals and of course the objectives effectively. So meaning to say they're not only going to achieve the common goals or shared goals that they have in an organization, but as well as those objectives that they have in an organization. Part of that is setting a clear vision and direction for the organization. Also, those making strategic decisions, inspiring and empowering employees, fostering a positive work culture, and ensuring that resources are utilized efficiently to accomplish objectives or to meet a common goal as part of or as part in the organizational leadership. So for us to better understand what exactly is organizational leadership, here's a simple explanation. So let's see, for example, imagine an organization as a team playing a game. So the organizational leader is like what? The coach, guiding and motivating team members to work together, winning the game. Meaning to say that winning the game, if we are to relate that in organizational leadership, that is to meet a common goal, meaning achieving the organization's goals. So with this simple explanation, we are now able to understand what exactly is organizational leadership. So it's like being the captain of a ship. Part of that is you're going to navigate through challenges and steering the team towards success, meaning you're going to lead your members or the group of people that you are managing for you to be able to meet the common goal or the objectives that you have in your organization. Since we're done with defining what is an organization leadership, now let's talk about what are the four factors of leadership. So the success of the leader is dependent on how the leader is effectively able to communicate and motivate followers to perform desired tasks using the appropriate leadership style, which is best suited for the given situation. So there are four factors, which are the leader, follower, communication, and situation, in which these four major factors in leadership, interdependencies and dynamics of this must be considered by a leader to become effective or for someone in an organization in which if he or she is a leader, these four factors should be considered. So let's start discussing first the first factor of leadership, which is the leader. So, who is a leader, or how do we define the leader? So, the leader is a person who leads, or a person has commanding authority or influence in an organization, or in a team, or in a group. So, a leader is someone who does more than just lead people. So, they must be driven by the right motivation and make a positive impact on the people around them. So it is not just all about leading a person or commanding them because they have authority or influence. But as a leader, you must be able to have that right motivation and have a positive impact to the people that you are leading. Someone who can see how things can be improved and who rallies people to move toward that better vision. So leaders can work together, making their vision a reality while putting people first. Just being able to motivate people isn't enough. So leaders need to be empathetic and connect with people to be successful. So if you're to put it in simple terms, a leader is like the captain of a team or the head of a group who shows the way forward and helps others navigate challenges. In short, how we define a leader is someone who guides, inspires, and influences others to achieve common goals or objectives, in which earlier or in the previous slide, we have defined what is an organizational leader. So that person who will help his or her subordinates or his or her followers, we call that person as a leader. So leaders often possess such there are a lot of qualities such as vision, integrity, empathy, and decisiveness. So as a leader, they should be able to communicate effectively, make decisions, and take responsibility for the outcomes of their actions. So again, a leader is someone who inspire others to follow their lead and work together towards shared aspirations or that common goals or objectives. In continuation, as what we have discussed in the previous chapter, in chapter 1 and in chapter 2, where we discuss what is self leadership. And we have also defined what exactly is leadership. So, leadership is a process where an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. So, as I have mentioned, the person in charge of influencing those individual or group of individuals for them to be able to achieve a common goal that they have in an organization or in a team or in a group, let's say, is what we call a leader. So in a transactional event that takes place between leaders and subordinates is what we also call as leadership. So it affects both the leader and the subordinates in the process of interactions. So it is not a one-way event, meaning to say it should be an interactive event, meaning there should be an interaction that's happening between a leader or leaders to their subordinates or vice versa, in which leaders are expected to influence people to form a group by bringing members together, induce a purpose, and inspire followers to aspire for it, put life in the purpose, make it operational by defining the steps on how to achieve the common goal, and provide direction during the course of achievement. As mentioned earlier or in the previous slide, that as to how we define a leader is someone who guides, inspires, and influences others to achieve common goals or objectives. So in which, um, in the face or as a leader, no, we will be able to achieve those common goals if there is a leader as someone who is going to provide us that direction. Someone who is going to lead and let or make his or her subordinates or followers work together for them to be able to achieve what they are trying to attain or what are the goals and the objectives that they need to achieve as one group or as an organization. So there are some of the roles of a leader of an organization. Number one, leaders provide direction. Number two, leaders create structure. And number three, leaders build trust. And lastly, leaders inspire hope. Now let's talk about the first role of a leader on an organization, which is leaders provide direction. So as a leader, he or she need to make sure that all followers understand, embrace, and work toward achieving those objectives. Also, they need to provide momentum, sharing, and celebrating progress toward achieving company goals, setting new targets, and providing needed resources. So, as a leader, they need to provide followers a well defined strategy for them to be directed or for them to be guided for the company's future growth, communicating that strategy to all team members and helping everyone to fully understand their unique role in helping the company achieve its strategic objectives. They also need to identify, develop, and nurture future leaders to ensure continuity and stability of leadership. So, in short, as a leader who is going to provide direction, he or she has also that responsibility to guide and steer their team or organization toward a specific goal or objective. So, similarly, in an organization or let's say in a team or a group, leaders are the one who are going to set goals. They are the ones who are going to define the objectives as well as they will be also the one who will outline the steps needed to achieve them. So they will do is that they will provide clarity and guidance. So that's the definition or how we define leaders provide direction. They provide clarity. They will provide guidance to their followers so that they can be able or they will help no the followers or they will help their followers understand what really needs to be done and how they can be able to do it effectively. So in short, leaders provide direction as one role of a leader on an organization plays a crucial role in showing the way forward, inspiring others to follow, as well as ensuring that everyone is moving toward the same direction. And again, that is achieving those goals or objectives that they have set or that they have in their organization or in the team or in a group. Here is an example or a simple explanation about the first role of a leader in an organization, which is leaders provide direction. Imagine you're on a journey with a group of friends, but you're not sure yet which way to go. So the leader of the group steps up and says, let's head north to reach our destination. So in this scenario, the leader is providing direction by pointing the group toward a clear goal and showing them the path to get there. So just like the first role of a leader on an organization, which is leaders provide direction, as shown here in the explanation or in the scenario, the leader provided an instruction or steps as to how they can reach their destination. In which, as I have said also earlier, that leaders will give guidance. Leaders will guide and steer their team toward a specific goal or objective in an organization. They're going to define you those objectives that you need to do, the steps that you need to achieve for you to be able to attain those common goals or objectives that you have. So they will ensure that everyone is moving toward that same destination and no one is going to be left behind. So that is what the first role of a leader in an organization is all about. Regarding the leaders provide direction. The next role of a leader on an organization is leaders create structure. So leaders need to create and maintain the organizational structure, job roles, decision making authority, and processes that enable team members to do high quality. So, in short, as a leader, it is your responsibility to establish clear frameworks, which is, of course, the organizational structure, the systems, and as well as guidelines within organizations or groups. So, instead of creating just a command and control environment, great leaders learn from followers what's needed to enable those followers to do superior work, and leaders then focus on supporting the teams that produce the company's products and do the company's works. So in short, by us creating the structure or by the leader or as a leader who creates structures, it will help his or her subordinates or followers provide direction. They will be able to organize their tasks. They can define roles and responsibilities. And of course, they can set expectations for everyone involved. So by creating also a structure, leaders enable efficiency, accountability, and coherence within the organization, in which it will ultimately contribute to achieving goals and fulfilling the collective vision. Or in short, the leaders and the subordinates or the followers in an organization will be able to achieve their common goal or objectives. So, in essence, leaders establish the framework within which their team members can work effectively and as well as succeed in an organization. Another role of a leader on an organization is leaders build trust. So as a leader, they have that obligation to ensure that everyone in the company has the skills necessary to perform their work. Meaning to say that as a leader, you know that your team members or subordinates are competent enough to perform the work or any task that will be given to them, understands how their work serves the company's objectives, and knows how the outcomes of their work are measured. So once those things are in place, leaders trust team members to be accountable for their own performance. Meaning to say, since the leader was able to establish the understanding of his or her team members or subordinates about the work that they are doing, that it serves the company's objectives, as well as they fully understand or know that whatever the accomplishment or the outcome of their work, it will be measured and there will be corresponding accountability or responsibility for their own performance. Because leaders can't know or observe everything that everyone in the organization does. Hence the reason that building trust is essential in an organization. And it is liberating for team members who are trusted to do great work. So building a culture of trust begins with creating a working environment where all members of the organization treat one another with respect, dignity, and encouragement. And as we all know, that trust, just like respect, it needs to be earned. So the foundation of trust is the leader's beliefs that their followers are committed to do the same goals and are competent to do their work and are committed to doing their very best. And that's how we can build trust in an organization between a leader and the team members. The leader's role is to establish, again, the environment in which people can thrive, be respected, and be trusted to great work. So leaders build trust by consistently demonstrating integrity, reliability, and transparency in their actions and communication. So when we say integrity in the actions and communication of as a leader, in building trust, it means that leaders uphold honesty, fairness, and ethical behavior in their interactions, while for reliability as a leader, they should follow through on their commitments and promises. And lastly is for transparency in building trust to their team members is that leaders should know how to communicate openly and authentically with their team members. Hence, they can consistently build that trust that they wanted to have in their organization between the leader and their team members or followers. Now, for the last role of a leader on organization is that leaders inspire hope. So leaders are optimistic and hopeful. So meaning to say they can visualize or they can imagine the company's future, and they're going to infuse their followers with hope by providing encouragement, by sharing successes and progress toward achieving company goals, and by helping followers create their own future with the company. Meaning to say, as an as a leader or as an effective leader, they have that ability to instill that optimism in their followers and a belief in a better future among those they lead. So, leaders who inspire hope often share stories of success. They will provide, again, encouragement. Let's see, for example, during setbacks or during challenging times or difficult times, and would demonstrate resilience in the face of adversity. So, they will provide clear direction based on a set of values and principles and share a comprehensive strategy for the company's future and build the organizational structure and processes to ensure successful execution. So, meaning to say, as a leader who inspire hope, or by fostering a sense of hopefulness and possibility, they motivate their team members to work towards common goals and pursue their aspiration with determination and optimism in mind. Is a simple explanation about the last role of a leader on our organization, which is leaders inspire hope. So imagine you're facing a difficult situation or a challenging task. So as a leader who inspires hope is someone who encourages you to keep going, even when things seem tough. They will offer reassurance, guidance, and a vision for a brighter outcome. Their words and actions uplift your spirits and give you the confidence to overcome obstacles. So again, an effective leader or as a leader or someone who inspire hope is someone who has that ability to instill optimism even or during those times or in a situation in which a task is challenging or it's a difficult situation or a challenging task. They're going to give you words of encouragement and of course they're going to motivate you for you to be able to work towards the common goals and of course for you to pursue and have that determination of and optimism to keep going, even though when things seem tough or difficult or challenging. Oh, we're going to go back to the four factors of leadership. So we have already discussed the first factor or the first major factor in leadership, which we call the leader. The next will be the followers. So followers, we all know that these are individuals who support, adhere to, or align themselves with a leader, a cause, or an idea. So meaning to say, a follower is someone who's going to follow the lead of someone or what we call a leader, in which different people require different styles of leadership or different followers require different styles of leadership of a leader. It is the followers also who will determine if the leader is successful by providing their support and accomplishing the needed task. So leadership is not about doing things themselves, but motivating the followers to work towards business objectives. Because of course, like what as to how we have defined or the definition of followers, they are the ones who are going to support the leader, meaning to say they are the ones also who are going to adhere and align themselves with a leader for them to be able or for the leader and the team members or or those individuals to complete the needed task or for them to be able to achieve the common goal or shared goals that they have in the organization. So if followers do not trust or even let's say they lack confidence in their leader, then they will be uninspired. So meaning to say they will not be able to complete the needed task or even achieve the common goal or objectives that they have in the organization. So to be successful, the leader must know his people, must convince his followers that he is worthy of being followed. So for example, a new hire requires more supervision than an experienced employee. So meaning to say, so these are new hired people. So meaning they are not yet skilled enough or they do not have the skills yet to perform a certain task, meaning to say they need more guidance. They need more supervision coming from a leader. in which it requires a different styles of leadership, wherein a leader cannot just simply use the style of leadership he or she is using for those who has been in the company for how many years. In which that's the second example. A person who lacks motivation requires a different approach than one with a high degree of motivation. So, meaning to say, an individual who is uninspired or they do not have that motivation to perform a certain task or a certain job, meaning it also requires a different style of leadership, in which a certain style of leadership that a leader has applied with those with high degree of motivation cannot or may not be applied on those individuals or person who lacks motivation. So in short, it needs or it requires to have a different approach of styles of leadership for that leader to be able to help that person be motivated in his or her task, for him or her to be able to complete the task given to them. Same goes with the first example that we have. For that new hire and versus those experienced employee, so they will require also different styles of leadership coming from a leader. A leader, again, cannot just simply have one leadership style that will fit to all, but it will be based on the situation being faced by the leader, the leadership style that he or she needs to exhibit or possess, or he or she needs to use in that certain situation. Continuation to our discussion about the second factor in lead or second major factor in leadership for followers. So there are general conditions or working conditions which are conducive to effective leadership. And this is coming or from the angle of subordinates. So they are grouped as leadership conditions that provide for the security of subordinates, and the other one is provide independence for subordinates. For the first general working condition, for provide for the security of subordinates. So this is actually a principle which emphasizes the leader's responsibility to create a safe and stable environment for their team members in an organization. So, meaning to say, it involves ensuring that subordinates they must feel protected in that environment where they are working or in that organization. So, meaning both physically and emotionally within their workplace. So, it includes also an atmosphere of approval, meaning the freedom to make a mistake and allowing for an honest mistake. Next is knowledge of subordinates. So that is letting subordinates know in clear terms about the procedures, rules, regulations, duties, responsibilities, the overall policy of the organization, even the performance evaluation procedure, how their performance will be evaluated, and what are the procedures when they are going to conduct evaluation of their performance. Next, personal peculiarities of his or her superior. And lastly, finally, consistency of discipline, indicating clearly both desirable and undesirable behavior. So by this, leaders can provide security by offering this clear guidance to their team members, the support and resources necessary so that the team members or their subordinates will complete tasks, as well as they will foster an atmosphere of trust and open communication, because of course, 'di ba, that when subordinates they feel secure, so they are more likely to perform well and contribute positively to the team. And that is the reason why that providing security or provide for the security of subordinates is one of the general working condition in which the subordinates will feel that they have a safe and stable environment in their workplace. The second general working condition is provide independence for subordinates. So this highlights the importance of granting autonomy, meaning they can create or make decisions on their own. They're not being controlled and the decision-making authority to subordinates. So meaning it involves trusting team members to take ownership of their work and make meaningful contributions without even micromanagement or without even checking them from time to time what they have already accomplished for the task given to them. So this includes opportunity for participation, responsibility, and the right to appeal. So as a leader who will provide independence, they empower their subordinates to innovate, problem solve, and take initiatives in their role. And part of that is delegating responsibilities and allowing individuals to exercise their skills and judgments, wherein leaders will now foster a sense of ownership and accountability among team members with this general working condition that as a leader or an effective leader, they will provide independence for subordinates. Here's a simple explanation about the second major um, factors of leadership for which is followers. So imagine you're part of a team working on a project. So as a follower, you listen to your leader's instructions, contribute your ideas and efforts, and support the team objectives. So you might offer, let's say, feedback, or you follow guidelines, or even you're going to collaborate with others to accomplish tasks and reach shared goals. So here, in this simple explanation or in the scenario that we have, followers are now individuals who support, adhere to, and align themselves with a leader, a cause, or an idea. So in various contexts, followers play essential roles in achieving collective goals, facilitating change, and fostering group dynamics. So followers, they are an important or integral participants in any group or organization in which they're going to contribute their skills, perspectives, and even support to advance shared goals or shared objectives and achieve success. So just like in the simple explanation in the scenario that we have, this is also what we call here the followership, meaning it involves team member or a follower being responsive to the leader's instruction, meaning they are also being engaged. They contribute their ideas and efforts. And lastly, they support the team's objectives. So in short, they are committed to the group's mission and values. Hence, it involves followership in the second major factor of leadership. So again, followers can demonstrate different qualities such as loyalty, trustworthiness, adaptability, and teamwork. While leaders, they are the ones who are going to provide direction and guidance. And as followers, they're going to contribute their energy, enthusiasm, and dedication to the collective endeavor or for them to be able to advance to the shared objectives or goals and for them to be able to also attain and achieve success. The last or the fourth major factor of leadership is what we call communication. So as a leader, he leads through two-way communications. It's not going to be one-way communication, but it involves the leader and the followers, and vice versa. So he must set an example and communicate to them that he would not ask them to perform anything that he would also not be willing to do. Meaning to say, anything that a leader will be communicating or will be asking his or her team members to perform, he or she could also, or he or she is also willing to do it. So leaders establish a vision and mission, and they are going to set the direction for the organization, communicate the vision to the people in the organization, and synchronize them with the organizational vision and mission, thereby inspiring the people to translate the goals, vision, and mission into reality. Leaders demonstrating communication skills are both good speakers and listeners. So meaning to say, they are not only good in communicating with their team members or followers, but also they have that ability to listen to them with the intent of understanding what is being told by their team members to them. So the leader listens closely to people at work. And they organizes and clearly presents information both orally and in writing. So through their words, they can help keep the workforce motivated and committed. They also listen to their followers and ask questions when they want to make sure they have a good understanding of what is being expressed, especially in cases wherein a leader is going to provide an instruction about a certain task that they need to perform. So before the leader will ask the followers for them to start that task, he or she needs first to know if those followers were able or they were able to fully understand the instructions given to them. So in short, there should be a good understanding of what is being expressed, of what is being communicated, or the instructions given to them were fully understood by his or her followers. Any message leader communicates either positively builds or negatively harms the relationship between the leader and his employees. And that's the reason why, as a leader, it is his or her responsibility to ensure that there is a good understanding of what is being expressed or communicated to the followers. So if you can recall our discussion in chapter 2 for the discursive leadership, so it's very important for a leader to have good communication skills, not just those inherent or natural qualities, traits, or characteristics of a leader, but we're also going to take into consideration the ability of a leader to communicate with his or her followers. In short, is there an exchange of information, communication, or ideas and instructions between leaders and their team members? Still under the fourth major factor of leadership, which is communication. So good leaders communicate with all personnel with a sense of mutual understanding and mutual loyalty to generate enthusiasm for projects and inspire working towards their completion. So an explanation or a simple explanation here. Imagine you're playing on a sports team and your coach needs to tell you the game plan. So communication in leadership is like the coach explaining the strategy to the team. Hence, communication is a fundamental aspect of leadership that enables leaders to inspire, guide, and empower their team members to work towards common goals and achieve success together. Because without communication or without the exchange of information, ideas, and instructions between leaders and their team members, they will not be able to achieve or to work together that completion of a certain task or job, or even achieve the shared objectives or goals that they have in their organization. So the last major factor of leadership is what we call situation. So all situations are different. So a methodology or approach that is successful in one situation will not always work in another. So this is also similar with the styles of leadership. So it says there that there's no what we call one fit to all leadership styles, but it will be based on the situation being faced by the leader. Same goes with situation, that all situations are different. Hence, it will also require a different approach or methodology as to how a certain group of individuals or organization will become successful in that certain situation. So the leader must use his judgment to decide the best course of action and the leadership style needed for each situation, as we all know that each situation elicits a different behavior in people. So a good leader is one who is sensitive to the influences in various situations, meaning he or she is aware that there are different factors that will influence a certain situation, which will require a different leadership style and course of action, and they are in a position to determine the right style of leadership to be followed in handling various situations. So the situational forces which affect the style of leadership include number one, the style of leaders supervisors. Number two, complexity and demands of the job and pressure of time. For instance, emergency or crisis versus normal time. So these are some of those situational forces or factors which would require a methodology or approach in which it should be aligned with whatever situation that the organization is facing. Lastly, the forces in the organization system which determine the style and effectiveness of the leadership include division of work, organization structure, and the production technology being adopted by organization. And this, another situation, will again require a different methodology or approach for an organization to become successful in any of these different situations. So the structure of the organization may determine the kind of leadership to be adopted. So in short, for situation, it will refer to the particular circumstances, environment, or context in which leadership occurs or will occur. So, for instance, some organizations may put a heavy emphasis on the leader's abilities to work effectively with people. And there are other times the social, economic, and political pressures that an organization faces prompt certain styles of leadership to be followed. So, in short, just like what I have mentioned, that same with leadership, that it requires different styles of leadership with whatever situations are being faced by the leader. For situation, it will also require a different methodology or approach that a leader must use or he or she must exhibit so that they will end successful or they will be able to achieve that certain goal or objectives that they have in their organization. So let's say imagine you're the captain of a sports team. The situation you face could include factors like the score, the time left in the game, the skills and attitudes of your teammates, and the strategies of the opposing team. So these are what we call situational forces or situational factors also. So all of these elements influence how you lead your team during the game as the captain of a sports team. So meaning to say, based on these different factors or forces, it will influence you as the captain of a sports team as to how you're going to deal with those kinds of situations that will affect or influence your style of leadership or your methodology or your approach as to how you're going to lead your team during the game. So leaders must assess the situation, consider various factors, and adjust their actions accordingly to effectively guide their team or organization toward success. So similarly, just like in the explanation or in the scenario, in any leadership scenario, the situation includes aspects like the goals to be achieved, the resources available, the challenges or obstacles present, the characteristics of the team or followers, and the external factors affecting the organization or group. These are those factors or forces that will influence a leader's style of leadership or his or her methodology or approach as to how to become successful in that one situation or a certain situation. The importance of organizational leadership is promotes communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect. So the leader shares the organization's values and models the communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect expected of everyone. Since every role is vital, or let's say every role in an organization is important for more forward movement. Therefore, it is imperative for a leader to communicate in all ways that all employees' contributions are respected. So, meaning to say, what it is trying to tell us that we should be fostering an environment where there is open communication, there is ethical behavior, inclusivity, and mutual respect are encouraged and valued in an organization. When we say communication, meaning we're going to encourage open and honest communication among team members where their ideas, let's say if they have concerns or feedback, they are freely shared and heard. For ethics, it simply means that upholding moral principles and integrity in all actions and decisions, ensuring that ethical standards will guide behavior and decision-making processes in an organization. For inclusion, it simply also means we are going to create or creating a diverse and inclusive environment where all individuals they will feel welcome. They feel respected and valued regardless of their backgrounds, identities, or perspectives in an organization. And lastly, promoting respect, it simply means treating others with dignity, consideration, and kindness, as well as we're going to acknowledge and value the differences and contribution of each individuals in the organization. So for us or us promoting communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect, it will entail or it involves creating a supportive and respectful workplace culture where everyone feels empowered to communicate openly, act ethically, embrace diversity, and of course, treat others with kindness and respect in an organization. The importance of organizational leadership is promotes communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect. So the leader shares the organization's values and models the communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect expected of everyone. Since every role is vital, or let's say every role in an organization is important for more forward movement. Therefore, it is imperative for a leader to communicate in all ways that all employees' contributions are respected. So, meaning to say, what it is trying to tell us that we should be fostering an environment where there is open communication, there is ethical behavior, inclusivity, and mutual respect are encouraged and valued in an organization. When we say communication, meaning we're going to encourage open and honest communication among team members where their ideas, let's say if they have concerns or feedback, they are freely shared and heard. For ethics, it simply means that upholding moral principles and integrity in all actions and decisions, ensuring that ethical standards will guide behavior and decision-making processes in an organization. For inclusion, it simply also means we are going to create or creating a diverse and inclusive environment where all individuals they will feel welcome. They feel respected and valued regardless of their backgrounds, identities, or perspectives in an organization. And lastly, promoting respect, it simply means treating others with dignity, consideration, and kindness, as well as we're going to acknowledge and value the differences and contribution of each individuals in the organization. So for us or us promoting communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect, it will entail or it involves creating a supportive and respectful workplace culture where everyone feels empowered to communicate openly, act ethically, embrace diversity, and of course, treat others with kindness and respect in an organization. The last importance of organizational leadership is what we call allows organizational leaders to remain goal oriented. So the leader may focus on bigger picture since his followers were empowered to fulfill their roles and develop innovative solutions. So for this importance of organizational leadership, it simply means that they need to stay focused on achieving the objectives and targets set by the organization. So it means that leaders, they should consistently prioritize tasks, initiatives, and decisions that align with the goals of the organization or the overarching goals of the organization or the all embracing goals of the organization. So it talks about their clarity of goals, meaning as organizational leaders, they need to ensure that goals and objectives are clearly defined and understood by everyone in the organization, and that includes the followers. This clarity will help in keeping everyone aligned and focused on the same targets or that common goal or objectives that they have in the organization. Next is that setting priorities. So as leaders, they need to prioritize tasks and activities based on their relevance to achieving organizational goals. They need to identify what needs to be done first and allocate resources accordingly. Part of this remaining goal-oriented importance of organizational leadership is monitoring progress. So as leaders or as a leader, they need to regularly monitor progress toward the goals. They track the key performance indicators or assess outcomes or the results and make adjustments as needed for them to be able to stay on track. Another is that providing direction. So leaders need to communicate the importance of the goals and provide direction to the team on how to achieve them. They inspire and motivate employees to work toward common objectives. Making decisions is another factor or part of allowing organization leaders to remain goal oriented. So leaders make decisions that support the achievement of organizational goals. They need to consider the potential impact of their decisions on the overall objectives of the organization. And lastly is adapting to changes. So the organization leaders, they should remain flexible and adaptable in response to changes in the internal and external environment. So meaning to say, these organization leaders or as a leader, they need to adjust strategies and tactics to address whatever emerging or new challenges while they are staying focused on the long-term goals. So these are the four importance of organizational leadership. First is to motivate followers. Second is allows for a problem solving and decision making mindset. Third is promotes communication, ethics, inclusion, and respect. And lastly, which is allows organization leaders to remain goal oriented so that they can achieve the goals and targets that they have set in the organization. That's the end of the expected topics that you have for today. Again, those are the organizational leadership, four factors of leadership, the leader and its role, and lastly, the importance of organizational leadership. Thank you so much, everyone.